Okay, I think we have some people. I think we can get started. Hi everyone. Good morning. We have Oliver joining. Chris is out on a vacation, spending time with his kids. So Oliver has graciously stepped in to help me with this week's product updates, which has a brand new name now. It's called HubSpot Handled. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see HubSpot Handled on my screen? Yes.
Yes, we've got it.
Perfect, because Zoom is being a little bit weird on my end. Um, so yeah, we have a new branding. It's called HubSpot Handle. That's what we're gonna call product updates. It's the same format, just making it tighter. What you can expect is expert curation. So obviously we're gonna do the same things we do. We have a deep dive and then some quickfire updates. And we're gonna also have live Q&A like we always do. And it's all within 30 minutes. So we just want to kind of keep to that format of giving you more value and giving you something that you would actually take back. So we're calling it HubSpot Handled. Um, Hold on. Okay. So for today's deep dive, we have CRM index in views. So a lot has changed within the CRM views. A lot of people, a lot of my clients have often been like, where is this button and where's this and why does everything look so different every time they log in? So I think we decided it would be a good choice to just kind of have a deep dive on what this looks like. And there's some exciting updates that if you didn't catch in the last update that I accidentally leaked out, there is a very exciting update that I think Oliver and we both have been geeking out about, which we'll get to. So, new CRM view. Um, Obviously, this looks quite different, quite polished, and also very small compared to what it used to be, where there were like bold, big buttons and
Mhm.
these filters and text everywhere. And now suddenly we have this really clean UI, which some people love, some people they find it difficult to navigate. So I thought it would be a really good idea to just kind of take a deep dive into this. So I'll start with how do you go to your board view and table view? Because that question has been asked to me so many times, and it took me like a second once we got this new view as well. So you see this little button here, current view type. This is what you're going to be using going forward to switch between table, board, report, map, and even calendar view. So this is where we would have the ability to switch. And then you'll see something called settings on the right side. And this is where you can go in here and you can click on however many number of items you want per page, the height of the rows as well. So if you want them to be compact, so it would be like really pressed together. If you want them to be broader, comfortable, or you just want it to be default. And my favorite is the zebra striping because I like that visual of like just having those alternate records, just easier to see, easier for the eyes as well. And then you have the edit columns as well, which you can go in here and it does the same functions as before. You can select your columns, but then you can also freeze however many columns you would want. So let's say I want to freeze this, and then the rest is scrollable, which is nice. You have the filters here as well. You can also click on advanced filter. We'll get to this in a bit to share some exciting stuff. But going back to the settings, you can also sort by from here itself. So just open up the table setting, but there's also a button here to sort by. And you can literally sort by any property that's available on that object. So if you're on the contact record, any contact property, you can sort by that. And then there's this little show metrics button. And I found this really interesting because you have it on the D level, but now you get to see it on the contact level as well. And then on your, hold on, let's go to a saved view and go to show metrics. You can then also select what metrics you want to see as well. So you can go in here, you can like contacts missing owner, count of contacts, or You want to see associated companies, if you want to see um, days to close, if you want to see literally, again, any contact property that exists, you can put that in here and then you can decide if you want an aggregate sum of that, if you want an average of it. So let's say I want to see page views, so number of page views, and I want to see average page views, and then I can make it average number of page views and apply. Um, and that shows up here. So this is really relevant, I think, mostly for marketing and sales teams where they might have certain properties that they own those contact records or company records or deal records, and they want to get like an overall number of like whatever activity that you're totaling or the deal amount or things like that would be really nice to have in the front and center here. Um, and then let's go
I
back.
really love the idea of the freezing the columns here as well. Just to step in just for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, from my perspective, when I'm looking at hundreds and hundreds of records and scrolling left and right and everywhere, it's
Yeah.
yeah, really, really exciting on that front.
Yeah, I think there's been so many times where I'm like, I need to compare this with the rest of the data. So I'll have one column and then I'm like, I have to keep switching back and forth. So
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
freeze is so important, 100% agree. And then there's this bit around copying links for the views itself, which also I found really helpful. A lot of times we create these views, but it's hard to like get the team to use it, share it with each other. You might know that okay, if you come in here, click the URL, that's the link, but then there might be people that don't understand that in the team. They might not be in the CRM all the time, but if they have this view. So just like having that quick action of copy link to clipboard and then also manage sharing. So you can just go in here, add custom teams, add custom users, just really go ham on who gets to see these views as well. And then this button, this is honestly such a lifesaver because it resets your view. So if you've made changes in your view, you're like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to, I don't want this changes that I've made. I want to go back to how the view was originally, how the filters were originally. You can click on reset to last save, and that'll reset the filters to what the filter was when you started working on it and editing it. Um, I don't know Oliver, if that's something that you found would find useful, but find myself a lot of times making changes in views, and then I'm like, oh, I need to revert all of this, and then
More useful from my side is what you just mentioned about copying links to views as well. Rather than I know in the past we've all been guilty of just sharing a link to a view, and obviously it doesn't work. So then having to go and grab all of the filters and pull them over. I think that in itself is going to save a lot of hassle as well.
exactly. Um, and then obviously you have the export button has come down here. It took me a while to find it, but it's here now. Does the same thing. You can export the data. You shouldn't be exporting the data, but in case you need it. And then if you want to clone the view and create a new view, that button stays here. But overall, it's just much nicer, looks better. The views are sorted much better. You can just add them. You can create a new view from this plus button itself instead of going to all contacts, creating your filters, and then creating the view. So it's just a much easier step-by-step process. Or you can add existing views, and it then also gives you some default views that HubSpot has built for you, which not a lot of people know that HubSpot does that it creates like these views specifically for your like portal, like the marketing contacts, your own contacts, prospecting agent contacts. So you can go through those views that others create, you've created. And then there's this admin promoted bit as well. So if you have super admins in your portal who want certain views to be very usable by the team and they want people to constantly go there, they can just be like, this is an admin promoted view, which you can go to. Okay, I'm running out of time, so I'm gonna go to the next exciting bit is cross filtering. So now not only can you have all of this, but there is a big button here in the advanced filters called add association. And what this means is you can now add filters from any other associated objects. And I can't explain how much of a game changer this is because you could not do that on the record view. You would always have to make a list or a segment of, let's say you want a list of people who are their city is known, the last activity date is known, but they also their country is in the United Kingdom. So to be able to do that, their company country is in the United Kingdom. So to be able to do that, reference the company object, you would have to create a list because you couldn't do that here. And now here you add association, choose an association. We have a lot of custom objects. I'm going to go to company, and that pulls up all the company properties within your contact view. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type country region is equal to United Kingdom. And what that does is all contacts with these filters, so their city is known and the last activity date is known, and the company, you can add association label as well. So let's say I'm with primary company is in the United Kingdom, and that filters your database based on that company filter. I can't explain the importance of this, but I know Oliver and I were geeking out about it as well.
Yeah, I mean, this in particular, and I know we're still only in the first half of the webinar, but this is my favorite of the updates so far around the amount of times that we've had to, as you said, go and create a segment, a list, rather than being able to do things in index views. Uh, yeah, it's going to save so much effort.
Exactly. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any ideas already of segments that you're going to delete because now you can just put it in a view rather than having to create different segments for these objects. This could even be for deals, this could be for your custom objects, literally anything that's associated to contacts or companies or whichever object view you're on. So
Mhm.
this could be on your deal object, any contracts object, if you have that associated, if you have tickets associated to your deal, like onboarding sequence, you can filter by any of that.
Even if it is just contacts with an open deal that haven't been contacted in over a week, or
Oh
an
my
open
God.
service ticket that hasn't been opened, that hasn't been had any activity for a certain amount of time. I think, yeah, it's yeah, like you said, a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Let's go to some quick fire updates that we have. Agent Hub, I don't know if everyone's seen this. This was rolled out quietly, but somehow this is such a big thing. Now we have something called an Agent Hub, which is where you manage all of your agents. This is definitely us. Telling you about the Agent Hub. We'll do a deeper dive on it at some point. But I think with inbound almost coming around, there's going to be a lot of new things being added to this. It is a public beta for now, but if you come in here, there's a little, your breeze icon has been replaced by this little diamond shape, I would say. Is it a diamond? But it looks like a diamond, right, Oliver?
We'll call it a diamond, sure.
Yeah. And then you have Agent Hub. We spoke about the Agent Inbox last product update, but the Agent Hub is it's such a good tool to see because you have a featured HubSpot agent and that gives you the stats of what it's doing. So you have AEO, share of voice, prompts track. This is obviously in our test portal, so you won't see a lot of data, but then you can see like data agents, how many contacts and companies it's touched, prospecting agent, what's the reply rate, deal progression, customer agent, etc. You can manage it from here or activate it from here as well. And then the best part is going into the whole loop methodology and the frameworks that HubSpot talks about. There's attract, identify, engage, close, serve. These are the pillars of these agents now, and it's telling you, okay, you've activated attract and identify. You need to have something for engage. You need to have something for close. You've already activated serve. So it's just like a little nice visual to know where you are at with your agents within your portal. And then obviously there is the custom agent going into it, just giving it a prompt and letting it kind of go and build an agent on its own. You can see all of your agents here. You can see all of the workflows here as well. So these are the agentic workflows. I'll just open a random one that I hope Mark won't mind. Again, we'll do a deeper dive on all of this, but all of the agentic workflows are here on how you trigger the different agents, what actions they take, etc. There's a little table here for anything that needs you to take a look at if you are maybe going over the limit of your credits, or that the bot didn't work, or an answer didn't come out the way it wanted to, any output problems, approvals. So with prospecting agent, if there are things that need to be approved, all of that comes in here. And obviously you have the big context hub, which is like the backbone of any AI tool in HubSpot. The better your context, the more filled out your context tab is with all of the right information, the better content you will get out of all of these AI agents. Um, okay, cool. So next we have column freezing for pivot table, and for this I need to zoom in because I have a big monitor and it just keeps showing me it's just enough for it to not have to create that freeze column, but I'm going to zoom in. Oh, that's not the right thing. Hold on. What this means is whenever you create a pivot table, and let's say you have lots and lots of columns, it freezes the columns on the left. So that's like the main things that you're distinguishing on. The measures are scrollable, and then if you have a total at the end, which I don't on this report, that also gets frozen. So it's just a really efficient way of looking at a pivot table with a lot of data. Not a huge update, but I think it's a nice way to kind of serve up reports like this, which are like in a table format, where you can just be able to scroll through the data without overwhelming the person and without them having to go back and forth trying to understand, okay, which deal stage am I looking at, or what owner am I looking at, whose data am I looking at, etc. Um,
Yeah, I think it's going to make just contextualizing these reports as well just so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and then we have CRM cards. This one I can't demo because it's Slack. But basically now your Slack channel can have a summary for your CRM, whatever data you're sending in the Slack message. So you can Sorry, let me rephrase that. So on your CRM record, you can have a summary of the Slack channel, whatever conversations you've had, if you have a linked record to that. So let's say if you have a company client Slack internal record, and that's showing up on the CRM. So you can have all of those AI summaries within the system. But again, I can't really show this because Slack integration, all of that, if you are using Slack and not on that horrible Teams, this might be useful. But if you're on Teams, you're not getting this, unfortunately, and that is your motivation to get off Team. Um, oh, sorry, close the wrong thing. Okay, I just closed the tab. Okay, the next we have is the AEO citation. This tab has been redesigned, and what this means is that you can now not only have like the recommendations that say like, okay, this is what it is, and this is what you should do, but it also gives you the recommendation type. So if it's like net new content you're creating, or social amplification, or if it's an outreach that you need to do. So it gives you all of those recommendation type, and then also what kind of content it is. Let me just zoom out because this looks weird. You can see the content type. So like social posts, how-tos, guides, educational listicles, what channel they're on. So blog, LinkedIn, YouTube, Reddit, etc. So it just gives you a lot more options to work out of. It looks at your priority as well. So it'll highlight something that it thinks is really high priority for your AEO citations to go up. And then also if you started working on something, it'll change the status, or you can come in here and change the status to not started, in progress, completed. So you can keep track of the recommendation and where you are at with your journey, trying to incorporate everything, because sometimes it might be a lot and you might just lose the threads. Um,
I think it's also quite interesting here that you've got similar filters to what you've got in other areas of HubSpot. So let's say if you're in a meeting with your social media creator, you can only show the things that are relevant to them versus if you're in with your content creation to only show blog posts. Also really useful there.
Yeah, I think the filtering option, that's such a good point, Oliver. The filtering option is so good, powerful as well, because yeah, you can filter by which channel, the type of content, the recommendation type, if you've assigned it to certain people as well. So you're managing your AE, you're in like, okay, I've gone in and given my team members these things to build, and you assign it to them. So let's say Eric gets that, and I can just come in here and then also filter by that person and then talk progress, etc., in your meeting with them. Um, but yeah, it just makes it much more user friendly to look at these recommendations and then be able to go like, okay, what am I going to actually act on and where is it and how does it help? It just gives you that overall insight. Okay, the next bit is about these documents that Breeze creates for you. So whenever you ask Breeze for something, so I've just asked Breeze to create a document that covers the benefits of using HubSpot mobile app. So it's created this little nice little document for me, which looks great. Now, earlier, this is it. You would have to then download it and then upload it to your Drive or your Outlook, not Outlook, Microsoft, and all of that stuff, right, to be able to share it with people. Now, instead, what you can do is click here, export as PDF, which was always there, and then click on share. And what this does is you can select everyone at your company, you can select a specific team, you can select a person. You can go in here and add, so let's say I'm going to find Oliver. I'm going to share it with him. And now he has access to this document within his Breeze. Now you might ask, okay, how do I get access to it? How do I see all of these documents that are shared with me? It's called an artifact. So if I click on this drop down, you'll see something called artifacts here. And I click on this, there's this button called shared with me. So Oliver will see that document under shared with me, and I will see all of my artifacts across all of the different chats here. So I don't have to go try hunting down different artifacts within the chats I've had because I talk to Breeze every day, multiple times a day, and I can't keep track of all the conversations, but sometimes it creates really important documents that I need to go back to. I can just come in here and open it up, and it takes me to the chat and it opens up the document itself. So I have the chat for context and the document itself.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really important and useful as well for like just cross-team collaboration, which previously, sure, I mean, we could have just downloaded things and sent things around as documents, but yeah, it again saves a lot of time and
Yeah,
keeps things in one place as well.
yep. And Lucinda seems to love it as well. So awesome. That's good to hear. The next bit is customer agent help desk reply coaching opportunities. I don't have a working customer agent that I could demo because test portal. But what this means is that I've just stolen the screenshot from HubSpot is whenever an agent goes into a customer agent reply, gives it feedback saying this wasn't good, this was missing, whatever the reply was, it sets it as like a coaching opportunity for you. And it'll then come up in your, let's go to the help desk, sorry, customer agent. Um, and then coaching opportunities. Oh, let's close up Breeze. Under your coaching opportunities, it comes in as a table, and you can now see why that was flagged. The type, so if it's a handoff, if it's an that needs to be edited, if it's an action that it took that you think it can take a better action, so the prompt needs to be better. If it's a knowledge base article that needs to be updated, so it just tags the reason as well for it, and then you can actually go in and take an actionable item and then actually improve the customer agent from it. So it just really gives you the oversight on how your customer agent is doing, how your team is responding to the customer agent and giving the feedback like, okay, this looked slightly off, and then be able to action off of that feedback. I know I'm
Yeah, I
short
think
on.
that's just a lot more contextualization as well, which is a word of the day, I suppose, than just the previous knowledge gaps. Um, so again, brilliant.
Exactly. I'm going to breeze through these last few because we're almost at time. Calendars. I don't know if everyone's seen this. There is now a calendar public beta, which basically you can just go in here, you can see a calendar. I've had so many people always ask me, can I just see my calendar in HubSpot? Yes, you can now. You can see all of this stuff in your calendar, and then you can also schedule a meeting directly from here. This is also available in the sales workspace. So in the schedule tab, so if you are a sales rep, you're working out of the sales workspace, you don't want to navigate away and then go to the contact record and then create a meeting. You can just click here, schedule a meeting, and that brings up the scheduler for you within your calendar itself. And obviously you have the upcoming meetings, past meetings, etc., etc. Within here, within the calendar. The next bit we have is Sandbox. What is new is whenever you're creating a deployment through Sandbox, initially it would just tell you whatever is deployable. And then you would not get to see some of the things that you've created that are not available to deploy, and you'd never understand why. I would always get confused because I will create a marketing email or a workflow, and then I'm trying to deploy it into the main portal from Sandbox, and it just doesn't give me the option to. Um, but now what it does is, oh, why does it say Shalini? That is not Shalini replying, that is Oliver replying, just saying. But I think Oliver wants to, Oliver's identity has been taken away, and I have taken away.
Hijacked.
Yes. Um, but yeah, going back to this, so now it breaks it into two tabs. So the deployable, which is what you used to get, which is like this is what's ready to move to production. But now you have another tab called not deployable, and why. And I can't explain to you how much of a game changer this is if you have Sandbox, because it tells you, oh, it can't be deployed because it relies on a unsupported custom event type. This can't be deployed because it looks at a unified events filter. This can't be deployed because it relies on Breeze Copilot action, which can't be deployed. So it really gives you that reason, and then you can either go in and fix that or remove that action and then make the workflow deployable and then add that action after it's deployed. So it just gives you a lot more um, context, as the word of the day is today. And the last bit is also one of my favorites, and I know Holly is our marketing director is very excited about this, because what you can do is use social media within your workflow, social media posts within your workflows. So what this means is if let's say a social media post has gone out, or if it has a certain campaign attached to it, it's a certain date, but there's different filters that you can add here. So like content type, name, URL, publish that, whether it's published from HubSpot, um, and then approval status, etc. So you can use all of these filters and then send an email notification when a social media post goes out live, send a Slack message to everyone in the general team to interact with that post. So you can create these actions. I can't think of anything else other than just informing people when a post goes live, or if a post is in like the drop, like scheduled mode, maybe notifying your manager to take a look at it or something like that. But I don't see it being something like a really complicated workflow, because I don't think it has enough filters to support something like that. But just it's a start. It's definitely a start to have social media posts in the workflows, being able to reference them, being able to then have action items out of that as well. Trisha says, HubSpot newbie here. Um, my current view of HubSpot is still the old one. Oh, Oliver's already on it. There should be an option at the top. Yep. It comes up when I am in the contact record. I have closed it a few times. Oh, well, I'm not here. Well, it will come up as a banner when you're on the contact record, but if you don't, it should also come up here on the right to switch view somewhere here, I think. Um, Obviously, we have switched out, so we don't get that button anymore. But if you don't see it, drop me or Oliver a message on LinkedIn. We'll happily just quickly take a look at it and help you find the button. But yeah, that's it. We are at time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Oliver, for joining.
No, thank you for having me.
It was super nice to have you. Otherwise, I would be just talking to myself. And we'll be joined by Chris again. Next product updates, HubSpot handled. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Great. Have a good day all.
See you, everyone. Thank you, guys. Bye.